Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Burning River Podcast. I'm Jake Scarborough, joined by my co host, Fidel Fabian, and we're here with our second ever special guest on the Burning River Podcast, part time truck series driver and a member of the U.S. Navy, Jesse Iwuji. How you doing today, Jesse?
Doing pretty good. Doing pretty good. Thanks for having me on the show.
Thank you for joining us. We've got a couple questions lined up for you. Uh, Fidel, you want to get us started with the questions?
Yeah. First question of the day. Which profession did you want to go into originally? Was it racing or football or something we don't know about?
Yeah. So for me, growing up, I had always liked racing, but football was really my main sport when I was growing up. So growing up in Dallas, Texas, everyone knows football is the biggest thing out there, and in Texas in general. So I gravitated towards that a lot more than anything, and decided that that was going to be the route that was going to help me get to some of my other goals. So going to college and all that stuff. So I did what I could to get myself better at football throughout the years, trained hard, learned the game, fought hard to try to be the best I could be, and eventually got recruited to play football at the Naval Academy. And I looked at that opportunity as a really good one to go off to a really good school, get a great education, play football for a great team, and then when I graduate, be able to serve as an officer in the United States Navy. So that was just a really good opportunity to go make something of myself and also set myself up for success in the rest of my life for anything I wanted to do past the Navy.
Well, you mentioned that football is where you kind of wanted to head to go with that. And now going back to your football career, you were a safety, if I'm not wrong. Going back to it, is there anything you kind of regret about that career?
So playing football, no, there's nothing I regret. I had a blast playing football. It was a good time. Played all school, middle school, college. Played top level stuff. Even at the Naval Academy, played against some really really big teams. And had a great opportunity to play in a lot of games. So it was fun. It was fun. I had a really good time. Was able to stay for the most part pretty healthy throughout the time. Had some small minor injuries here and there, but nothing major. Besides, I had one major surgery, but besides that, everything else was good. I had a good time. There's nothing I really regret at all for football. It helped shape my life and helped me become the person I am today.
All right. Is it hard being in the Navy and being a driver for RBR at the same time? How hard is it to manage?
As far as being in the Navy and also driving at the same time, it can be tough sometimes. Sometimes the schedules don't match up perfectly. There are some times where I race on a Friday night and then I have Navy drill Saturday, Sunday, and sometimes I got to drive 8 hours to where that Navy drill is going to be. I've had that happen multiple times. So that's what makes it a little difficult sometimes. But that's why I moved from active duty Navy to the reserves so I could have more free time. It's just that moving to the reserves now, all my duty time that I do have is on the weekends instead of during the week. So that sometimes it can make it a little rough, but because we race on the weekends and not during the week. So it's all good. You live and you learn. At the end of the day, I'm the one who decided to do it all. So I do the best I can with what I have.
Yeah, I'm sure that is tough to manage, having less free time with everything going on. But another thing, last year we saw you get the opportunity to run in a few Xfinity Series races. And on top of your expected truck starts, what was that opportunity like, especially having the average finish of 26.5 in what would be considered underfunded equipment? You were driving that car to places a lot of people didn't expect it to be.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun getting the opportunity to run Xfinity. For me, I'm still learning in every car I jump into, even in the trucks. I have, I don't know how many starts I have now in trucks, maybe 10 or so, 10, 11, 12, 13, I don't know. But whatever it is, I still, have a long ways to go. I don't have that many starts really in anything. So, every time I jump in, it's always a new learning experience. I'm always learning new things. I'm always trying to get better. Some days are better than others, but for me, I'm just trying to do the best I can with the equipment I have. I haven't ever been on, what I would say a big team before. I haven't been on the really highly funded teams or anything like that. So, which is fine. I mean, eventually I'll get there. It's just for right now with the sponsorship that we do get when we get it. It's good enough for us being able to, jump into, a Raymond Brothers Racing truck or, BJ McLeod motorsports, car, all that stuff. So we jump into their vehicles and they're all good stuff. It's just, obviously they don't have the same level of funding that, the Joe Gibbs and the Kyle Bushes and all that stuff have. So we do what we can with what we have. I try to do the best I can with what we have. My goal every race is to go out there and run all the laps, finish clean, and do my best to try to finish lead lap. Sometimes I can do it, sometimes we don't, but we try our best and just try to make the most out of the situations that we have.
All right. We know COVID-19 has basically affected everyone's lives throughout the whole entire world. How has racing for you changed during the pandemic?
During the pandemic, racing it didn't change a lot. It actually the only thing that really that changed a lot for us, at least for the drivers, I would say, was the practice part of it. We don't have practices anymore, so there's goods and bads to that. It is kind of nice being able to kind of sit around all day, then just go jump in a race car and race. And that, as far as time and energy wise, that's nice. But as far as like getting acquainted with the car and the track and trying to get it to the best it can be for that day, you don't have time to do that. So that's the only sucky part. I've been fortunate enough that we haven't had any real like mechanical difficulties or issues with our vehicles, thankfully, during the races. So that's good. But yeah, no, it's interesting. It's definitely changed the landscape, but everyone is feeling the same effect. So it's not just me. So we just go out there and we try to do the best we can with the situation.
Yeah, and that's great to see that, you still got to race the races you were told, hey, you can jump in the car this weekend, and you were able to do that, and especially with the Xfinity starts thrown in there, which you did great in, on top of the truck starts. But this next question may be a bit more personal, but
Mm-hmm.
regarding your post you made last week about your parents' story,
Mm-hmm.
growing up. How was it for you to grow up, especially with their background that they had? Was it a harder way to kind of move through everything?
Yeah, yeah. Both my parents, came from a pretty tough background as far as, in Nigeria, their life. Not that they had like, bad parents or anything like that. It was more of it's just a rough life there. I mean, you live in villages. Here, we we live in normal homes and all that stuff over there. I mean, they're, 10, 12, 15 people packed into one small house in a jungle where if you need to use the restroom, you got to walk 30, 40 yards away from the house to an outhouse and then go pee or poop there. And if you forgot to bring the toilet paper, you better find a big leaf nearby and use that. And I know from experience because I've been there and it happened to me. But yeah, no, they definitely lived a different life. But when they came here to the U.S., their goal was to provide a better life for their future family and give them the opportunity to have more success than they were going to have. And both of my parents became successful people here together in the U.S. and they paved the way for us to go earn our success too. We didn't start with a lot. When they first came here and we were born, and we pretty much I think we had food stamps and we lived in Section 8 housing. And we didn't live in the best part of town, but life got better as time went on because they continued to work hard. They continued to grind. We as kids continued to be the best kids we could be for them so that their life wasn't as hard. And then then we created our own path and got ourselves to college. Our parents never paid a dime for our school. We worked hard in high school so that we could all get athletic scholarships, and that landed us in the great schools. And then from there, we took our lives from there. So our parents just paved the way on how to get your mindset in the right place and how to work hard, and then we did the rest from there. So I think we all work together as a family to continue to build ourselves and be the best we can be, and it's all work together.
Yeah, I can kind of relate. My parents, they came from the Dominican Republic. My father, he grew up in a very poor household, never had a father. He had to go on the streets and collect bottle caps and try to sell those to just so you get a couple of pesos. My mother, she grew up on a farm, uh, only had a few little cattle, not enough to sell some milk and maybe sell a little bit of eggs for a profit. But they both worked hard. They had my brother and my sister. Then a couple of years, me, we flew to the United States. And as you can see, we're in a better household. But back to the subject. Clearly, from your social media, you have great time working building cars. Besides the Corvette, what would you say is your favorite car?
I would say besides the Corvette, I have two Corvettes now. I have a C6 Z06 and a C7 Z06. Both of them are fun. I love them both. But my other car I have outside of that is a Nissan Skyline GTR. That's my next favorite right there. I love that car a lot. It's right hand drive. Skyline GTR says it all. I mean, it's a legendary car. Beautiful RB26 motor in there. It's now fully built. I got a single turbo on it. It's gonna make some good horsepower once I finally get it out of the shop, hopefully this week. But yeah, it's been a fun car. I just like cars in general. I'm a car guy. I like fast cars, whether it's Japanese or domestic here or European, you name it. I have respect for all different kind of performance vehicles. So yeah, that's my passion.
And moving on, this is something you've been known for since you put your foot down in NASCAR, and I'm sure way before then. Compared to other drivers and other big names, you're more active with your fan base. We saw just the other week you shouted out one of the leagues that me and Fabian participate in, being the AORS. Like, Why is that you're more active with your fan base compared to others?
I'm not sure. For me, I always go through my social media. I check through to check messages and different things, but you never know what opportunities are going to pop up for different situations. And obviously, fans hit me up all the time about different things. So when I have a moment, I try to go through all the messages and answer all of them. Sometimes it's short responses, sometimes it's longer responses. But I try to just stay engaged with them because you never know who you're going to positively affect. Maybe somebody's just having a really rough time and they need some help on something and I can give them some advice. Or maybe someone needs a question that answered and they're just not getting the answer, and maybe I have the answer. You never know. But you just try to be there for people when I can. Obviously I can't save the whole world, but I try to do the little I can when I can. So yeah, I like engaging with the fans, seeing what they like. It helps me learn them more, so I'm putting out the right content that they like to see, and so on. So yeah, fan engagement is definitely important because a lot of fans look up to athletes, drivers, all these people. Why not give back to them and be there for them because they're the reason why we're at where we're at.
Yeah, I like that in a driver that someone like the fan, so a driver that a fan can relate to a lot. When you're looking at an NASCAR driver, you're probably thinking, "Man, he has a lot of money. He has a lot of fans. That's someone or something I can't even be or even tackle." But
Mm-hmm.
you as a driver in the sport, and you're showing fans, "Hey, I like this. I like that." Maybe the fans can be more invested into you, and maybe have a little bit of fun with you. Uh, you're considered to be a part of this huge changes in NASCAR, trying to attract a new audience for the sport. How does it feel to be put in this category of groundbreakers in the sport?
Yeah, for me, I've always tried to be the one to help unite folks in the sport, no matter what color you are, no matter what gender, no matter where you come from. I'm all about this message of unity, bringing everyone together, so that we can all become one. Because united we rise, divided we fall, and I'm a firm believer of that. So, over the last year or so now, obviously there's been a lot of different changes happening around the world, just because of all the different, injustices that have been going on, things like that. It's nothing new. It's finally coming to light a lot more. So, that's when I really started pushing my message even harder on this whole unity thing, because we all have to come together. It's not us versus them. It's not this group versus this group. It's we have to become one. That's how we're going to build this country and build this world and make it a better place. So that's a message I put out. And I know, with my platform, I have somewhat of a voice. Some people have bigger voices than me, but I have a little voice in it. And if I can try to put out the positive stuff, the right stuff to bring people together, that's what I do. There's some people who want me to put out a certain message, and I'm gonna put out the message I want to put out because it's my platform and it's me. I don't care what anybody else has to say. um, I'm gonna put out the right message that I think is right. That's gonna unite the world, and that's that.
Yeah, we people would put your name in categories with Bubba Wallace, Bill Lester, an up and comer like Raja Caruth. you're you're a part of that group that's just trying to attract this new area and trying to bring people together. Use your voices that you have in your platform to attract people to the sport, and both all of you, for example, are getting moved up the ladder with the sport as well, and it's nice to see that. It's respectable to see that you guys take advantage of the fact that, or I don't know if that's a proper term to use, but you guys use the fact that you have this background and you try to, make something of it. You try to unite everyone over one thing, and in this case being the sport of NASCAR. So it's nice to see that.
Yeah, yeah, most definitely. And as you're growing through the sport, as you're building your fan base, you're building your platform. As you build a platform, too much is, or what's the quote? It's something about too much who is given, much is expected, or something like that. Something like that. Basically, it says, for whoever gets a lot, you're expected to do a lot with it. So building this platform, I got to make sure I'm continuing to unite the world.
Yeah. And that is something a lot of fans respect about you, and that's why you fall into the category of one of the fan favorites in the sport, especially rising up the ranks slowly but surely. But I think we save probably what would be, the most asked question by a lot of people, and that's, is there a plan to go full time in the future for whether it's the Truck Series, Xfinity, or Cup Series?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, the goal is to go full time. The only thing holding me back from going full time is just funding. That's all. And funding is not easy to get, but
Yeah.
eventually we'll have what we need to run full time. But yeah, the goal is to run full time, and really the ultimate goal is to run full time in Cup. That's the ultimate goal. So it takes time. I still got a lot to learn on track. I still got a lot of things that I want to accomplish along the way. So but the ultimate goal is to get there. And with racing, as you probably know, a lot of it has to do with money. I mean, it just costs money to go fast. It costs money to win. If you don't have a huge budget, it's very difficult to get up front and try to compete for wins, because you don't your vehicle just isn't going to have the level of technology, equipment, and R&D into it as the guys who are up there every weekend, competing for wins. So you got to understand, kind of, with whatever budget you do have, you got to understand there's realistic goals of what you can accomplish with it. So you do the best you can with what you have, and you go have fun with it. And that's what I'm about. I don't eventually one day I want to win races and do all that stuff, but with where I'm at right now, I just want to go out and just compete and learn and do the best I can with what I have. That's all I can expect right now.
I think that about wraps it up. Fabian, I don't know if you have any more questions for him.
Yeah, I think I'm out of fuel for today.
Well, thank you so much, Jesse, for joining us today. It's been a great honor to have you on. We've both been looking forward to this, and hopefully we get to see you in the future. Good luck in future races you have this year, and if we don't talk to you again by the off season, we hope to see you doing some more races next year with some more sponsorship.
Yeah, most definitely. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, thank you for coming on and taking your time out of the day.
All right, cool. Sounds good.
All right. Have a good day, Jesse. And that
You
wraps
too.
up everything for the Burning Rubber podcast this week. Thank you all for tuning in. We'll see you guys next week when we discuss everything going on after the Phoenix races.